Praise the Lord, TrueLife. Let me say thank you for coming by and watching these videos. Thank you for informing yourself. I believe that the best decision maker is an informed decision maker, somebody who has taken the time to get all the information before making any kind of a decision. And so we thank you for watching these videos, whether this is your first one or the second one. We appreciate it because we want everyone to be able to come back to true life. We want everybody to be able to come back and worship, but we want you to do that when you're comfortable and at your comfort level. And so the good thing is, whether you decide this Sunday, hey, I'm going to come back to true life, I want to worship, I want to engage with the people of God, or whether you say, you know what, I'm going to wait another week or two or however long, we understand that, we respect that, but we want you to be able to do that in an informed manner. So thank you again for watching these videos. Now, in this particular video, I will be perhaps reiterating a few points that I made already in the other video. But again, we're stressing several of these points because we don't want you just to hear it and understand it. We want to make sure that it gets inside of our brain, inside of our mind, locked away there, so that we do not come to church and are surprised or say, oh my goodness, I forgot all about that. We want you to hear this and hear it again and hear it again, so that again, you will not be surprised and you'll be able to make an informed decision. First of all, let me begin by saying that I realize this is not going to be a normal church setting. When you get here, you're going to see that on Sunday or any Sunday thereafter for the next little bit at least. And rather than complaining about it, rather than belly aching and saying, oh my goodness, this is so horrible, this is not comfortable, instead, let's have this kind of a mindset and attitude. You know what? I'm just glad to be at the house of God. I am so glad to be in God's presence one more time with the people of God. So if we can come in with that kind of a mindset, just ready, just glad to be here, it's going to make all the difference in the world. We also are asking that whether you come to the 9, 11, 2, or 4 o'clock service, that you would arrive around 15 minutes prior to service time. The reason we're asking that is that we will only be opening the doors and begin to escort people into the building at 15 minutes prior till start time. So if you get here 30 minutes, 45 minutes early, you're just going to be sitting in your car wasting gas. So why not save the gas and not have to rush and just show up again 15, even if you got here at 20 minutes till, that's fine, but really shoot around that 15-minute mark because that's when the doors will open. Also, if you are sick, this is not a new rule, this is not a new guideline, but if you're sick, if you're showing any sign or symptom of sickness, please stay at home. The great thing is we have online video services now. The 11 o'clock service will be online. And so for those who are not comfortable in coming, or if they're sick and not able to come, then you're going to be able to watch the 11 o'clock service online. So again, if you're showing any symptom of sickness, please do not come to church. Make sure that you are well and healthy before you show up. And you will be asked some questions prior to being able to come into the building. And we just ask that you would be honest in your answers there. Also, please make sure that you are at your assigned service. We don't want anyone to oversleep, say they signed up for the 9 o'clock service and then oversleep and say, well, I'll just show up at the 11 o'clock. Because a lot of these services you might show up for, and then we would have to turn you away because we don't have the room and we can't really go above that 50 mark. So again, for this month of June especially, if you are at if you sign up for a certain service, please make sure you are at that particular service because we'd hate to have to turn you away. Also, the nursery will be kept closed except for emergency use. Same for the restrooms. Restrooms will only be available in the front lobby. All the other restrooms are closed down. Only use those in emergency use, and the same for the nursery. We are requesting Now hear me on this one. We are requesting that all children sit with their parents. I know, and sometimes in our services, some children like to sit with other young people or other kids, or sometimes our youth like to sit together. And that's great and that's wonderful. But in this particular time right now, we cannot allow that. And so we're going to sit you by family, and we're asking that you would please make sure your children stay with you. They cannot get up. They cannot go running around. They cannot go roaming around, even if they have to use a restroom. If they are not a teenager, if they're anything below a teenager, we're asking that the parent would please accompany them. And to make sure, again, that there's nobody out roaming around, we will have staff out in the hallways to make sure that everyone and everything is contained. We're asking that you would please refrain from all handshaking, from all hugging somebody's neck. And I realize that that's just part of the Pentecostal church culture, is a handshake, a hug around the neck. But again, at this time, we're honoring that social distancing, and we're asking that you would please refrain from that. Just you see somebody in the hallway, or you're passing somebody, just give them a wave, a smile, a greeting, a kind word. And hopefully there will come that time here very soon that we can get back to hugging somebody's neck or greeting them with a handshake. But for the present, for this moment right now that we're in, we're asking that you would please refrain from any type of handshaking or hugging. Also, the van will be running for one service, and that is the 11 o'clock service in the morning. And I take that back. It'll be running for two services. One will be the 11 o'clock service in the morning, and if there is need for the van to run in the 4 o'clock African service, it will run then as well. But again, it's not running for the 9 o'clock, it's not running for the 2 o'clock, only for the 11 o'clock a.m. service and for the 4 o'clock p.m. service. And if you do need a ride, you need to check in with Brother Mike Weiss for the 11 o'clock service. And if you need a ride for the afternoon 4 o'clock service, you need to check in with Pastor Senga. Also, there will be no water fountains available. So we're asking that you would please bring your own water bottle. We're asking that you would dispose of that water bottle if it's empty after the service in a trash can. Please do not leave it in the seat. Our cleaning teams only have about 15 minutes or so to clean in between services. And so it'll help out if we're not trying to clean up trash and all of that after service. So again, no water fountains available. Bring your own water bottle. Even if you don't think that you'll need it, bring one anyhow. Because knowing just how the human psyche works, right? You just know that, hey, there is no water available, then you're going to get thirsty. And you're going to say, oh my goodness. Now, we will have a few water bottles available for an emergency. But again, that's going to have to be an emergency. We don't have water just to be passing out to everybody who wants one. So again, please bring your own water. For the mask service, which is the 9 o'clock service, I want to let you know that everyone on the platform, they will not be wearing a mask simply because there will be singing and I'm going to be preaching, and we get hot enough doing that without the mask. And so in order to make sure that we're not coming in any kind of contact or getting close to anyone, we are going to be on the platform when the service starts, and we will remain on the platform throughout the service, and we will not come down from the platform until everyone from the 9 o'clock service has been dismissed and is out of the building. The same goes for media. They will be upstairs. The balcony area will be closed off. The only ones up there will be sound and video and all of those things for media. So again, there will be a mask service at 9 o'clock, but for those of us who are unmasked, we will not be leaving either the balcony area or the platform area. Also, there will be some masks, there will be gloves, so hand sanitizer available. And then let's move on to the service outline. as far as what's service going to look like. We're going to start with prayer. And I will begin by welcoming everyone. We'll say a prayer at the beginning, an opening prayer. Sister James and a skeleton crew. We're not going to have the full praise team up there. We're not going to have the full musician team up there. Again, it's going to be the skeleton crew that we've been working with, but they will go into two songs of worship. Then at that point, I will take prayer requests. There will be no coming forward now for prayer right now. What we're going to ask you to do is simply, if you have a need, raise your hand. And then those around you can simply just lift their hands towards you. And we're going to pray the prayer of faith. I realize the Bible says that when someone is sick, let them call for the elders and anoint them, praying the prayer of faith. You know what? I believe in that, but I've also been in times and in situations where I couldn't get to somebody to pray for them physically and lay my hands on them. But I've prayed the prayer of faith, and I believe that God has honored that prayer as much as he has honored the times when I've laid my hands upon them and prayed for them. So that's how we're going to conduct prayer request. And then as soon as prayer request is over, we're going to receive our tithe and offering. We are asking that for those of you who are giving online right now, please do so. We understand some folks are not comfortable with that. We've had some folks mailing in their tithes and offerings. You can continue to do that. Or if you are at service and you want to give during the time of tithe and offering, then we're asking that you would go ahead and do that. Again, it'll just be the offering plate on the altar area. We'll allow you to come up by sections real quickly so that we don't have too much traffic. And you just drop that in the plate, and then an usher will come and get that plate after the service. And then after tithe and offering, we will go into one more song, worship song, and then I will preach. And then the altar call right now will be conducted in the pew. Again, the whole altar area is going to be off limits for the time being. We're asking that folks do not come to the altar and to pray, but right there in your pew, you can turn around, and as a family, you can begin to pray. And God's going to touch you as much as he will touch you while you're in the altar. People can still receive miracles. People can still receive healing. People can still receive the Holy Ghost in their pew, praying, calling out on God as much as they can at the altar area. And then once the service is done, we're going to ask that you would please make sure and exit the building as quickly as possible. You will be dismissed by rows. An usher will come and he'll dismiss you a row at a time. If you want to visit, please do so out in the parking lot. Last thing I have to say is right now, looking forward, I'm going to kind of give you the breakdown for June, July, and August as far as what we're looking at regarding services. In June, right now, we can only have 50 in the building. That's a smaller number versus the formula they gave us, the percentage. So 50 is what we have to do. 50 people in the building in June. On Sundays, it's going to be a worship service only. Wednesday night is still online because we have more than 50 people in the building on Wednesday nights. And hear me on this one, Kids Rock is going to move to Saturday mornings at 9 o'clock. So there no longer will be the Kids Rock on Sunday at 10:15. That Kids Rock online video service for our children will move to Saturday mornings at 9 o'clock for 30 minutes. And we continue to have Tuesday morning prayer, Thursday morning prayer, and the two more things we're going to start back up that fit in this 50 or less number is Saturday prayer for our Africans in the prayer room. They'll be in the prayer rooms on Saturday. And then Thursday evenings, every other week, we'll go back to our all church prayer on Thursday nights because we have less than 50 for that. And it's easy to social distance there as well. And same for the African congregation because they only have a handful of folks who come. So they're able to social distance even in the prayer room. And then in July, if things continue to go well, we should be able to move up to 100 in the building. Again, this will only be a worship service format, and probably what we will do is go to 9 o'clock, 11 o'clock service, and 4 o'clock. Hopefully, with 100 people in the building, we can eliminate the 2 o'clock afternoon service in July. Wednesday night, I haven't totally made up my mind yet. It could go to in-person church, or it could go to or continue to be online. I'll probably try to get a number on how many folks are coming or planning on coming back to Wednesday nights. Hopefully everybody plus some more. Kids Rock will continue to stay online for Saturday mornings at 9 o'clock. And then, of course, we'll continue to have Tuesday, Thursday PM prayer, Saturday prayer, and hopefully during the month of June and also in July, if there's any type of outdoor activities that we can do in different ministry groups and be able to kind of maintain that social distancing, we'll be able to do that as well. And then in August, they're saying that if everything continues to go well, we'll be able to get to a mass gathering of 250. And so that should be able to put us back to just our morning service and afternoon service. I really don't want to try to give a lot more detail than that, simply because we don't know, and I hate to project something out there that could not transpire. But again, hopefully this has given you a lot of information to consider in making that decision whether or not you want to come back for this Sunday or wait. Either way, we understand, we respect that. And I will be honest with you, as your pastor, I am so looking forward, like I said earlier, to seeing people in the house of God, worshiping with you. I know that God has watched over us. He's going to continue to watch over us. We're going to be as smart, as safe as possible, and we're going to try to take care of our people. And we want the best for you, both spiritually and physically and in your health. So God bless, and we look forward to seeing you